Chippa United just beat Kaizer Chiefs by 2-0, and that is it. Back-to-back defeats for Kaizer Chiefs. But let's be honest, is any one of us really surprised that Kaizer Chiefs lost? I'm waiting for an answer. Comment, because what is the excuse? I haven't had the post-match interview of Calvin Johnson, because immediately after that game, what ended up happening is there's another game of, I think, Stellenbosch and someone. So there was no time for us to be shown the interview. But the point is, Kaizer Chiefs lost the game. And when the match started, I won't be a hypocrite and say, oh, why did Johnson make so many changes? No. I have no problem with the changes that he made. And I said it before the game that the only problem I had with the changes that he made was taking off Umtu Shabalala and bringing on Umtu Mtanzane, because of the fact that Umtu Shabalala had played well in the previous two games. But with the other changes that he made, I was like, okay, it makes sense, because he wants to show them, Muguti, I want to make changes and I can make changes if you're not playing well. I understood that. But if you're going to take out players, we don't win football with the players who are there. Because if I make an example, if it was always about how good your players are, then our teams like Barcelona would never lose any game. But there was a time where Barcelona were losing matches as well when they were in their prime. They were not winning everything, like that duo, where there was Messi in the front, there was David Villa, there was Pedro, there was Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets. Guess what? They also lost some games, ne? Because it's not just about which players do you have, which players did you select for your starting 11, but it's also what is your strategy. And we talk about this all the time. With football, especially modern football, it's not just about the players that you have, but it's also about the tactics that you choose to use. But more than that, this is action reaction. You also don't just come up with one plan to approach the game, but you must also come up with plan B, C, D, E, and F, because you might have a plan and your opposite coach will have a plan as well. So that plan that the other coach has overcomes your plan. So now you need to say, what am I going to do? Come up with a different plan. But with Calvin Johnson, it never seems like he has a plan to begin with. That's the problem. For starters, he never seems to have a plan. But to make it worse, if you never even had a plan, which plan are you going to go to if your first plan doesn't work? Because right now it seems like it's just like, okay, we're going to bring these players out. Today we have Solomons and we have at left back Dove. So yeah, we're going to get much more going forward. But how are we set up when we're defending? How are we going to stop that? We can talk about the goals, the 2 goals that we considered. We still could have scored 3 goals. We're going to talk about that in due course. Right now, what I want to talk about is the fact that Chiefs had this coming. We deserve everything that is happening to Chiefs. And I will say this, and I will sound like an idiot or someone who doesn't love his team. I want Chiefs in the next game. I think it's against Richards Bay on the 20th in Durban against Richards Bay. I want us to lose. I don't want us to lose 2-0. I want us to lose 4-0. I want us to go to Polokwane, play against SuperSport, lose another 3 or 4-0. Play Sundowns on the 30th, lose 3 or 4-0. Why? Because the team has been doing this thing for way too long, and they've been getting away with murder for way too long. Because what is happening with Chiefs is they lose 1-0 and they say, we were unlucky. We lose the game 1-0 again, or we draw the game 0-0 and we say it was, for example, today we can say we lost the game 2-0, or it's because it was the pitch. As if the team that we were playing against were not playing in the same pitch. So how can you complain about the pitch while both teams were playing in the same pitch? It makes no sense. And then you are going to complain about the referees in some games because, oh, we drew with Sundowns, they robbed us. So then we have an excuse, right? We have an excuse to hold on to and say, oh, it's because of the ref. So then screw everything else. The ref was at fault. We couldn't have done anything more. It was just the ref. As if the game was just those 2 or 3 moments. There were more moments in the games where we could have done better. No, we focus on that. So in this case, now we're focusing on it's the pitch. There's going to be more excuses like Luke Flus passed away, so emotionally the players are not in a good place. Nonsense. Nonsense, because if Luke Flus was going to affect the team in any case, it was going to be in a positive way, because they were going to go out there and say, we are fighting, we are dedicating this win to Luke, right? But no, it's to them like, oh no, yeah, we have no plan, we're just casually playing the ball. And I don't want to even talk about the players individually. I don't want to criticize Johnson for the fact that when we're in trouble and we had to make subs, he brought on Frosler, a defender. He brought on Ustebe, who's the same as Castillo and Matt. And he also brought on Umashian on the 97th minute and Uduba on the 80th minute. Why so late to make those changes? But why make those changes that still have defenders in them? Right? So that's my question. We could talk about that, but let's not talk about that. And I'm not angry before people say I'm angry. I'm just talking with passion. If you are telling me that in your right mind, this coach does this thing literally every week, let's not talk about the coach. What the hell is wrong with you? Why have you not sacked him? Because this has been happening for way too long. For way too long. And we've been dismissing it. I were unlucky. I this, I that. I Martin namhlanje. I Castillo kusasa. I Martin Castillo namhlanje. I Hlanti kusasa. I Solomon's today. I Peterson namhlanje. I Rangu yakecha. Zgunenkinga everywhere. It's everyone. Everyone is at fault. But it does not make sense. You cannot fire every single player in a team. That's just not going to happen. And they've had an opportunities, 2, if not 3. In fact, after that game here, Pirates, the 11th, after they lost, they should have seen how he approaches the game and thought of replacing the coach. Let's leave that alone. They had time after they fired Unsegi to appoint another coach. They appointed him and he fluked the first 3 or 4 games. And I said here, well, it wasn't here, but I talked and I said to you guys, ayikho indaba kaKevin Johnson. I remember saying that. And especially after the dub, I was like, ayikho indaba yalo coach. The games that we're playing, there is no hope. There is nothing that makes me say, there's been nothing. The only thing that Kevin Johnson has done that has made him look like a decent coach is playing Uprosip Vuma in goal. Because most of the games that we were losing under Nseg, Peterson was making mistakes. Nah? Even under Enu Johnson, Peterson still made a mistake against Arrows, who ended up losing that game 2-1. And then the following games that came, he was playing Vuma. And Vuma was making saves, and not making the silly mistakes that Peterson was making. So that was about the only change that happened. But even the stupid tactics that he's applying right now, he's even figured out, they've figured him out, these things, he's useless. He doesn't know how to set up going forward. He doesn't know how to set up going backwards. I mean, useless in terms of coaching, not as a person. This is not personal. But why has the management, after seeing this, observing this, not made a decision to sack him? Why did they fire Uzwane in the first place to even get Unsegi in? They made a mistake, they screwed up, and the whole team is now screwed up. So that is why I'm saying to you guys, we can talk about the game, we can attack Abomart, we can attack players individually, but the point is, the management has had a lot of time to look at the players and do something. Like, I want to look at all the games that we have for Chiefs right now that are remaining. Okay, so we start on the 20th, né? So we start on the 20th, we have Richards Bay, we have literally 6 games remaining. Richards Bay on the 20th, Super Sport on the 27th, Sundowns on the 30th, Amazulu on the 11th of May, and then Polokwane City on the 18th of May, Cape Town Spurs on the 25th of May. And here's a spoiler, Richards Bay just won today, and they will be fencing themselves against Chiefs. Super Sports are trying to finish in the 3rd or 2nd spot, so they will also beat the Chiefs. Sundowns is not playing with anyone. They will also beat the Chiefs. Amazulu are also rising from the dead and have already beat the Chiefs. They should also beat the Chiefs. Polokwane playing very well, Benesekukun and Stellenbosch. They should also beat the Chiefs. Cape Town Spurs, they will probably still be fighting relegation at that time. They should also beat the Chiefs. So in the 6 games that we have right now, I could honestly, if now I'm being more realistic, I could honestly see Chiefs win the game here at Richards Bay, lose or draw with SuperSport, lose to Sundowns, draw with Amazulu, draw with Polokwane, and win against the Spurs. So out of the 6, I literally see us winning 2 games and drawing 1 and losing the other 3. If we are lucky. The only games we can realistically win is Richards Bay and Cape Town Spurs, but that's if. That's a big if. So, once again, what has the management done? They are the ones who appointed Johnson. They are the ones who, when the fans in Polokwane were rioting, said, "We hear you." And at that same time, they were appointing Kevin Johnson because they knew very well good they wanted Kevin Johnson to end up being the head coach. Otherwise, why have they kept him this long after realizing that he's been playing nonsense? We can talk about chances. We can talk about how Ngobo Nomsimango did bad in the first goal and how Ngobo could have done better in the first goal, how Vuma could have stayed in goal, how this and that, how this and that. All it comes down to is if the team was coached better, we wouldn't be in this situation. But then we wouldn't be in the situation if the management had made the right decision. What do you think? Where is Chiefs going from here? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy. Hey.